just real quick, wanted to just thank you about the frequency of moving and looking at that piece. It's expensive, it's hard on families, all those things. And with the childcare and thinking outside the box, you know, I was in Futenma Marine Corps Air Station last week. We were in Japan, and one of the spouses we met with just said, you know, a lot of the gyms back home have childcare in the gyms, and that was something they asked for. So just really thinking outside the box. But childcare in military gyms is, I've never seen that on the military side. But my last question for you guys, I would just love to start at the end with Sergeant Major Black and just go down the row and just tell me the top reason that you see people leaving your branch of service. I know we've talked a lot about quality of life and how we're attracting people and keeping people, but we are losing people, and that's expensive too. We invest so much money and time, and we want to keep good people. So what is the top reason in all of your branches that people are leaving?
Man, because the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps is sitting here right now, and it's no longer me, I will speak more broadly. We could say quality of life. Yes, that has a huge impact. We could also say that there are other career opportunities. You know, the skills that we give military service members are highly lucrative on the outside. And so while we see a challenge bringing people in, and those things we talked about previously, propensity and quality being the greater of the challenges, it's equally difficult to keep people who we give. Think about the amount of investment in resources and capabilities that we give to our service members. Let me use one and move on so I don't get too wordy. If you're an enlisted service member and work in cyber, E4, that individual can practice within authorities that no civilian with a PhD and many zeros after their paycheck can ever execute. How do you reward that? And what's the attraction to stay other than pride of service into your nation? Those are continuing challenges that I think we're going to see as we see our military talent leave because there's other opportunity until there's a time of need, and then they'll want to run back in, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Great question. I would say first for context, our retention numbers are actually really good right now. You notice I hesitated a little bit before I said that. That's because I want that to continue, and so I spend a preponderance of my time focused on retention. We've done some pretty solid recruiting work here recently, and the Secretary and the Chief have made some decisions, and we're absolutely getting after that, and that journey's never going to slow down for us. But on the retention side, I don't want to come here and talk about a retention crisis, and so I do drive our G1 folks crazy with this topic. But I do think some competition in the outside world, not to repeat everything the SEAC just said, that is real. That is not hyperbole. And then there's some demands on the force. It is not a safe and secure globe right now. And the demands from the global combatant commanders are very genuine, and you're well aware of all of them. And so with the force we have, back to the recruiting, and then the demand, we're in this space right now. I don't have soldiers getting out because of specifically I'm out of here because of my barracks or because of my motor pool was built in 1952. But I think it's the sum of all those things when an individual gets to a point in their life to make a decision whether to re-enlist or not. I think it's probably a little bit of all those and differently and unique for each of them. But that competition pull, that is a real thing. And that's a good thing, by the way. We want a great economy.
Ma'am, I would offer this for us to consider. We take their quality of life and we take their quality of work. We combine those and we have our quality of service. And what that service member and that sailor finds that they're getting out of that. We have high op tempo, no doubt about that. And everyone's looking for a way to improve their station in life. And they want to see a future, you know, that is improving their particular station in life. Now, along those ways, they're going to be extremely satisfied with what they're accomplishing in that mission. Case in point, our sailors are currently operating in the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandeb. They're re-enlisting at record rates. They are very excited and proud of what they're accomplishing over there, and they want to continue to do so. If they come back and they don't look at their that their quality of life is improving their station in life. They don't see a future in that, or they don't see a future that that is improving their station in life, and it starts to detract away from their quality of work and what they're accomplishing. They're going to make decisions to move on and find something else that does satisfy them.
Ma'am, for the Marine Corps, I have a trouble getting them out. They're at 97.6% complete, and we're just 4 months into the year. So we have a good thing going with our culture and retention. Marines get out when we don't give them the culture that they were expecting, or the vision, or what it's like to be a Marine, ma'am.
That's great. Good.
Congresswoman, thank you for the question. Just like my brother said on the right, the Air Force retention is high. It's at 9 out of every 10 airmen are staying in, but it's not across the board depending on the career fields that you might be in. And so, exit surveys show that of the folks that are separating, it's typically squadron level leadership. However, right, like that's probably the same whether you're in the military or out. What I do want to emphasize is the highly lucrative opportunities that service members face today. When I talk to our cyber airmen or nuclear maintainers, right, these are young E4s that have opportunities where companies are offering lots of money for the skill sets that we are providing them, which the help that you all can provide in the sum of fully funding MilPERS accounts, allowing us the opportunities and authorities to be able to put the money where we need to retain that E4 that might be otherwise getting out would be extremely helpful. Thank you.
Congresswoman, thank you for the question. For the Space Force, as young as we are and as small as we are, we don't have a recruiting or a retention challenge. I would say that most guardians I interact with when I talk to them after they do leave service do so grudgingly because they love what they do, but there's opportunities for them to continue their life and maybe better their station, if you will. But they miss serving. But they just have our opportunities. And we talk a lot about value proposition today. So just as an example, right, when we look at, are some of our models outdated? 99% of enlisted men and women who have families do not qualify to get reimbursed to have a single-family home. When you look at the BAH anchor points, the only grade that is authorized to get reimbursed to have their own single-family 3-bedroom house, single dwelling, are E9s. So when you talk about value proposition in above and beyond what it means to serve and wear the uniform and cloth of your nation, but from the value proposition perspective, that's kind of what we're offering them. And I think maybe that's what this panel is about, to have that discussion and rethink, what does it mean? How do we value the propensity to serve and the immense talent and responsibility we place among our enlisted corps? Thank you.
Well, thank you for all your responses, and I appreciate and I'm so thankful to hear about people being satisfied with their mission. It really is a mission that we are all on together, and we will just continue to work on that. I think that this has given us a lot of direction to follow, so I appreciate just all of your insight. It's small progression, right? That's what they need to see. You mentioned that they need to come back and they need to see that we care, that we are investing, that we are building new buildings, taking care of old buildings, improving just the baby steps, but we'll continue to work on that. Thank you so much for being here.